At one point, James, it's recorded in the Gospel of John, came to Jesus, and you don't have to read too far between the lines to see there's a lot of tension here. James he's having a real dig at his brother. You know, if you are really the Messiah, show yourself in Jerusalem. Boy, now where's that coming from? That's coming from a brother who's a cynic. That's coming from a brother who thinks his brother, Jesus, has a Messiah complex. And this James, you know, started out his religious life as a Christian, as a non-Christian, as someone who didn't believe Christ at all. And so we know that when Jesus resurrected, it says he appeared to the 12, that is the 11 remaining and the one appointed to take Judas's place. And then it says, and then to James. And that, you know, gets me thinking about the relationship Jesus had with his brother James. He must have loved him. He must have had incredible patience for his brother. So this section here is looking at faith and the will of God. Faith and the will of God. James chapter 4, verse 11, this is what he says. Do not speak evil against one another, brothers. The one who speaks against a brother or judges his brother speaks evil against the law and judges the law. But if you judge the law, you are not a doer of the law, but a judge. So this is interesting because here you can imagine these faith people saying, you know, I've got faith, you haven't. You know, obviously you can't because you've got sin in your life or you just haven't reached the level of faith that I'm at. And really what's going on here, and this is the same thing all through James, he's concerned about people putting other people down. Doesn't want it. And so here we've got a situation where we're not told exactly what's going on, but James is now addressing this, what we might call spiritual elitism, or we might refer to it as judgmentalism. Judgmentalism. And he actually uses that word to be judgmental. You're judging your brother. Notice that he says this kind of judgmentalism, notice the kind, it's where you speak evil against one another. I don't think we should rush over that. The one who speaks against a brother or forms a judgmental opinion of his brother. This is the one he's concerned about. Now, this is interesting because sometimes you hear people misapply this idea of not judging another person. James is not saying we can't judge between right and wrong. Not saying that. He's not even saying you can't judge whether a Christian is living as a Christian. I mean, good grief, his entire epistle has just done that. So he's not saying that. What the implication here is that someone is speaking evil of another brother, forming an opinion about them that is completely unjustified. In fact, it sounds like James is talking to people who have formed an opinion about someone's motive. Oh, they only do that because they think, believe, feel, whatever. How would you know? How would you know? And this seems to be what James is saying. You can't be that judgmental. You can't be judgmental with people like that. So here's an interesting thing from a pastoral point of view. In a church, it seems that James is saying, for a church to be strong and healthy and vibrant and growing, we have to learn to speak well of each other. Amen? So James assumes that this kind of evil speaking of another brother is actually unjustified. And that's what he's referring to. We're reading verse 13. This is what he says. Come now, you who say today or tomorrow we'll go into such and such a town and spend a year there and trade there and make a profit. Sounds like a 5-year plan. Sounds like a plan you have. You know, I'm going to do this. I got my life mapped out. I'm going to do this. You ever had your life mapped out and suddenly realised God wasn't reading the map? And James is going to say something to people like that. I think we need to realise that James is the New Testament book of Proverbs here. So we're going to have to cross-reference to some Proverbs about how we do plan and how we do find the will of God in our plan. We'll come to that in a moment. Verse 14, this is what he says. Yet you do not know what tomorrow will bring. What is your life? For you are a mist that appears for a little while, then vanishes. Ever dawned on you? Ever dawned on you that even if you live to be 119, your life compared to all of life is but a vapor? You get older, you look back, and your language is the years have flown by. None of us will live very long on this planet, even if you live past 100. Next time you become critical of a brother, especially this brother, just ask the question, have I prayed for him? Have I prayed for her? Pray for them. It's amazing what praying for someone will do to your criticism of them. So whoever knows the right thing to do and fails to do it, for him, it is sin.